Okay, Patrick, it's time for your favorite part of the show. It's a This Week in Trading History. What did you dig up for us this week?
All right. Well, it was actually this week in going back almost 30 years was the famous sale of Pebble Beach to a Japanese investor, this Minoru Isutani. And what is amazing, and the reason why it caught my attention was because rhymes so much with what we've seen over the last decade with Chinese investors coming into the U.S. and Canada. And so let's quickly review the story. So it was an incredibly high-profile U.S. real estate investment, and it sparked concerns among critics that the Japanese buyers were taking over the entire U.S. economy. So this was in 1989, 1990, at the peak of the Japanese bubble, right? And what ended up happening was that it became clear that the purchase was one of the worst real estate deals in history, plagued not only by controversy involving Japanese organized crime, all sorts of stuff, but in the end, the property was sold for, I think, something like 800 and something $million, and he ended up having to sell it just like a year later for 500 million, so like a $300 million loss.
The seller filled that bid in like a butter tart.
Like a butter tart. That's exactly what I was
Filled
thinking.
them in. He's like, okay, there's a bid. I'm going to hit that, and I'm sold.
Yeah,
It was the dumbest one of the dumbest trades ever.
it
How do you
was.
lose that
And
much that quickly on like a real estate deal? That's just shocking. It just shows you how bad the trader he was.
but you know what it reminds me of? Okay, now I know there was massive Chinese buying all around North America, and even go across the sea to London and Australia and everywhere. But
Recently, you're talking recently that there's been this.
Recently there has been, right? But there's one particular story that caught my attention, and that was the sale in Vancouver, Canada, of the Bentall Center in Vancouver. And it was the huge, large office complex in the core of Vancouver, and it was sold to the Anbang Group, which is that insurance holding company that went and purchased it for just over $1 billion. And what was interesting about that is obviously was it the CEO that was subsequently in China charged and sent to jail for 18 years. All of the holdings of Anbang were seized by the Chinese government, and they went to proceed to sell all of this stuff. And so this transaction occurred in 2016 at the peak of that real estate surge of Chinese money coming into North America. And it was again just sold this year, and by the Chinese group there, and it was sold privately to Blackstone Group, and another group that basically did a secret purchase where the price was not revealed.
Ah, so I take it you think it was lower.
Oh, totally, it was lower. It has to be. Like, it probably was the core reason to hide the price is to preserve the resale value. I mean, they probably got it 50 cents on the dollar, and they would never disclose that because I think that would hurt all the real estate in Vancouver in general, wouldn't you think?
I don't know, Patrick. It just sounds like they say history never repeats, but it certainly rhymes, and it looks like it's the same way in that we all thought that the Chinese were going to come and buy everything, and it ended up being that all the stuff they were buying, and especially in Vancouver, and if this was symptomatic of all the houses that were trading in Shaughnessy and Point Grey. And those ended up being top ticks as well, just as bad as the Japanese guy
Yeah.
buying the Pebble Beach, right?
Exactly. And anyway, I thought that was a great little tidbit of history, and again, you're exactly right. It's amazing how history rhymes. And wouldn't it be something? I mean, I don't want to say that that is the case. But certainly with the escalation of the trade war and all of this, you have to think that that era of Chinese buying is over. It's not that
Yes.
money won't come here, but I just don't think we're going to see anything like that for a long time.
Well, it was over the moment we arrested that executive.
Oh,
You know,
in
that
Canada.
was,
In
yeah.
Canada, yes.
It was
Right.
over.
The
We
Huawei executive
the
being
Huawei executive. We did that on behest of the Americans, and since then we've been punished by the Chinese. And there's no doubt about it that marked. If there was any doubt that we were on the other side of the curve, it was put to rest after that fact, because since then Vancouver has been one way, and that's down.
right, right. Anyway, that was this week in history.